And we're live.
Wow, here we are yet again. Thank you for joining us. It is pre-Keno hour. Pre-Keno hour. Right after this, we are quite literally going to go off to Keno to unwind. And it's been a while. But this show is going to be interesting. We're sparing you the images, strangely enough, because we want it to be more of a podcast thing. As soon as we're done with these, we upload it to Spotify.
It's about a day.
So it's about a day. It takes about a day because we got other shit to do in the middle of it. But we're going to talk today about some of the transitions that are going on in Vegas. What is it? What do we call it? What's the clickbaity thing that we said?
Is Vegas getting worse?
Is Vegas getting worse?
And then God! It's a picture of the sign. One is like really nice, and the other side is getting terrible.
See, lured you guys in here. But for the most of you that are here because you've been here before, you know us, and you're familiar with us. Well, it is what it is. Okay. So there's a lot of things that are kind of going on. This is going to be a lot of ranting today. A lot of good ranting. And rants doesn't always have to be a bad thing. This is going to be a lot of ranting. But there's going to be a lot of rants and raves. Yeah, there you go, rants and raves. So we are going to we're going to focus on truth. All the time I want to get to the truth. And interestingly, Dennis brought up something the other day, which was fantastic. And we were watching something together, and it was this person was being very uniquely positive, which is great, but positive in the point where you could see that they're blowing a lot of smoke up everybody's ass, and it just doesn't seem very genuine because life doesn't exist. It's not always just positive. There's a lot of negative shit. Like nothing's always just that good. There's things that go on that aren't that good, and we assess the future by understanding the reality of our present, right? And coming to grips with the truth and where we're at and where we're going. And when we continue to blow smoke up our ass, I think we miss opportunities to grow and to learn anyways. So we got a lot of that today because there is a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on in Vegas. We're going to have Fontainebleau and F1. All of my favorites are going to come back because they've actually had things that have been going on in Vegas that where those subjects, and of course, towards the end, we're going to give away some stuff, and there's that. All right, so the first bit of news I have, which I think I'm actually pretty excited about, there's something, Vegas is looking at building a studio. We have production areas in town, and I'm not sure what the status of those or what the status has been since COVID, but I know that we've been moving. There's a lot of movies get filmed here in Vegas, obviously. And we've always incentivized that kind of experience. The first movie I ever got to see where I saw the actual sets was when Mars Attacks. So they imploded the Landmark Hotel, and I happened to live very close by. I was actually given a notice. I should have saved it of that this implosion was going to take place and yada yada, because I live within 500 feet of where the landmark was, and of course they imploded that for the movie Mars Attacks. And ever since then, there's a lot of the Maxim was the destination. For those of you who remember the Maxim back in the day, that a lot of filming was done there. If the original, there was a series on Vegas that was filmed there. So, anyways, it would make sense to have a movie studio. Have studios here, production facilities, all this stuff, and of course, Mark Wahlberg finally rolled into town with all his fervor, has made Vegas a home. And now they're seriously talking about, a pretty big studio over 50 acres in Summerlin that could potentially employ 10,000 people. And this is something that's purely positive for Las Vegas. I mean, this is a great place to go. These I'm sure will be great jobs. In many cases will be union jobs. And I mean, anything that promotes Vegas and opens up Vegas to the world is a win. So I love this kind of thing, right? We can all sign off on 50 empty acres on the west side of town being filled up with the movie studio. That just makes a lot of sense. In fact, what would have made more sense is to build a racetrack over there on the same 50 acres and run a few cars around it. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. The other thing that I think is exciting for us that you might not be aware of is we're returning into an industrial town. We're turning into the mecca of many different companies that are using Vegas as a place to either store their shit or reship their shit. I mean, we live if you order Levi's from this home, you could almost walk over to their distribution center and pick them up the same day. So that's exciting. So these are all good things that are ahead. But wait for it. Now we're going to get to a couple things that are going on that are more interesting, because those are kind of the boring given things that Vegas is transitioning. We can all get behind. The other thing that Vegas is doing, I think, smartly is we do have a lot of housing that's coming online. There's, for those of you who are thinking of moving to Vegas, finding affordable housing is actually key. A lot of cities, a lot of metros have become very expensive. Vegas is expensive. It's not on par with what you'll see in California, New York City, things like that, thank God. And there are lots of apartments that are coming online. Some of them have been kind of bougie apartments that have really gone for the jugular in terms of the price breaks. But I think those things are changing. Moving in incentives are improving, and those apartments are coming on. And we have just literally pushed forth a big $30 million grant to build more affordable housing. So this is another positive development we can all get behind. Waiting for it. We're coming to the F1 thing. Oh God. All right, ready? I can't wait anymore. All right, so there's some really good transition. But now the next part about our survival is very simple. Stupid people doing stupid things. I think that the minute we stop taking for granted that people know more, or people, even a group of people that get in a room just stop smelling their own farts, would be, and I use that analogy because I think that it's just perfect. I really do. I think that it's perfect. I think it's nothing more than that. I think that a lot of people love to hear their own voice. Listen, me included. I'm sitting there listening to my own voice. I am surrounded by lots of different people. Trust me, all the time. And I always seek validation. Even if I don't feel like I need it, I always seek it, right? One of the things that I have learned in life, and I hope you guys, the better the voices, the more honest the voices, the wider the range of the voices, you have to hear people that are willing to say no. You know what's funny, Dennis? Dennis says no, dude. You have no idea. Dennis is a skilled no person. Like, we have fights. We literally have fights. There are days we don't speak to each other. His no is so fixed and firm. His ass is no. You know what I'm saying? It's literally no. It's just like nothing but just ridiculous no. And we fight. Like, I kid you not, me and him, as much as we're become very close, and he's as close to his son as you could ever believe, he's a no. Believe it or not, Alex is, okay, he's not always a no. He's smiling. He's always a no. He's such a little... Anyways, there's a lot of no's. I've got a lot of no's. I'm surrounded by people who are willing to tell me no, and I'm the kind of person who likes no. I like it being direct. If you've ever met me, the one thing you'll know about me, I'm very direct. Sometimes people start laughing about it because they think that I'm direct to be... I'm not direct to be funny. I don't know what it is about me being older, or, you know what I mean, talking smack, but I'm a very direct person. I just don't have time for all the fluff. Don't ever come up to me and ask me if your dress is nice, if you have any doubts, because I will remove doubt for you. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not something I like, I'm going to tell you I just don't like it. And I run into problem with this all the time, because if I don't like a food and someone paid for the food and I don't like it. What do you want me to do? You want me to sit there and be nice about it? It's terrible. I want to get the hell out of this restaurant, do something else. And in the moment, I don't lose the moment. Like, I'm not someone who sit there, take it, and move on. A lot of people just like to, well, I'm here, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to be, if I'm paying real money to do something, I feel like it's important on me. The onus is on me to make up for all the people that sat here and didn't say something. We famously went to a restaurant recently who is trying to be like this next big thing, and it sucked. The whole experience sucked. And everyone I heard about going there also said it sucked. And a guy comes up to me while I'm eating and is asking me what my experience is. And for a quick second, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. But you know what? I can't do it. David can't do it. David, when David opens his mouth, literally truth, as much as possible, the truth comes out. And I was very clear, and I was very distinct. I wasn't there to be, just critical for nothing. I was trying to provide feedback from someone who, I was a patron, and I left it at that, and he seemed to take it in a genuine way, and I think more people that do that will have a better impact, right? If you go somewhere, even if you go somewhere as a player and you go into a casino and you have an experience that is subpar, you should share that. Why not? The casino should want to know that. And if they don't want to know that, and they don't want to take you seriously, or whatever the case is, then that's not a place you should go to. And that's where ultimately you end up on Yelp, or Google, and you express your views that way. A lot of people use that, use social media. But I feel like growth comes from making mistakes. It comes from accepting the truth, hearing the no's, yesing people that yes me. I have no purpose. There's no use for that. Yes, every now and then I'm a flippin' genius, and I'll accept the fact that someone says, David, you're a flippin' genius. I love this. But for the most part, that's not a thing. And if you're just sitting there agreeing with me, I don't have a lot of uses for you, right? So imagine this: a few people got into a room who we assume are very smart and are looking out for us. That's one of our problems, I think, just as a society, as an American society. Those of you who live in the United States, and anywhere really, right? We elect people who we assume are looking out for us. Most of the time, they're only looking out for themselves, right? They have their own agenda. We have built a political system about agendas. This is how it works. If you have to run for election every 2 years and raise a shit ton of money that you don't have, guess what? You've got to create an agenda. And guess who your agenda has to please is the people who have money. You know what I mean? This is I used to work in politics. I know I'm getting on the rant right away, but I hope you share this with me. I'm going to get to the casino shit in a minute, and the Formula One shit, and there was a commission meeting. We get to, but you see where this is the dumb logic. Like, we sit back thinking that these people, A, are smarter than us, and B, have our interests at heart. And you know what? Neither of those things are often true. That's the problem. And then the rest of us just sit back and take it, like literally take it. And so I was in politics, and I did not work. I will tell you this: I'm fairly apolitical most of the time. Yes, I have political stands. I have some political ideology. I lean liberal on in the social spectrum. I love everybody. I want everybody to be at peace and be happy. Financially, I'm very conservative. You know what I mean? These kinds of things, and I fit in the middle. You know what I mean? I'm very independent. I might lean a little more conservative for the most part, if you're wondering where that is, but I'm not out to fight anybody. I don't want to make politics my thing that stands in the way of me having a friend or me being in the same room with other people. That's where I feel like we've come too far, one way or the other. Let's be clear. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's just a thing, right? But politics, so I got into politics for a minute because I was sitting at my computer one day, this is many years ago, and I was debating a constitutional amendment that the state was. I'm a bit of a political nerd. I'm one of those guys that sits and turns on the local community center channel and see what they're debating. I follow the county commission when they have their commission meetings, and even planning meetings, believe it or not, I listen to. I love listening to the wackos come out and have their commentary. It's pretty fascinating to see what's going on in my community, what people are trying to find a voice and this kind of thing. And so, so anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm debating this constitutional measure, which, by the way, I backed a side that sucked. Years later, we realized we made a big fat mistake, but I'm willing to accept that. You know what I mean? So if you look at it and you look back and you're honest, yes, I played a role in this constitutional amendment, by the way, to the state constitution. It cost the state a shit ton of money because of what happened with COVID and some dynamics that no one was ever prepared for. Real estate prices, for example, going low. But so I'm sitting there, I'm having this debate online, and you know what the person tells me? I don't even know who the person is, quite honestly. They're like, well, if you really want to have a voice, go out there and make your voice heard. Join this group who's advocating for this change. And you know what I did? I went down there and I joined that group advocating for the change that I was in support of. And primarily it was, I didn't want our legislature to arbitrarily raise the taxes, property taxes. Because here we have in Nevada, we don't have a personal income tax. There's no, which a lot of people move here because of that. Like in California, you're getting hammered, dude. You're getting absolutely hammered. And so what happens when our legislature, guess what they do when they want to raise money? They return to the till, and the till is property taxes. It's property taxes, it's business taxes, stuff like this. And I was saying, listen, if you're going to return to the till, let's keep it to a bare. Let's not all of a sudden, go from 2% to 5% to 10%. Let's keep it at a cap. You follow? Let's have this cap. Well, of course, COVID hit, or 2000, the depression, the real estate depression. It was 2008. This was in 2006 when we were having this debate. 2008 hits, all the properties get depreciated ridiculously, and because this cap is in, they haven't been able to recover this property tax, right? Because all the real estate, reduced in value so significantly. Then this new rate took effect, and now because of this constitutional amendment that limited how much they can adjust as property tax, it's been a slow crawl up. Which, For those of you who own houses, or at least, still own a house from back then, fantastic, right? But anyways, I digress. So anyways, I got involved in politics, and I got involved in the logistics of politics, which I really enjoyed, until I realized that I wouldn't say everyone's an idiot, but I get in a room, and I'm doing this media introduction, and there's 9 politicians, or rather 9 people that are hoping to be elected. Some of them were already elected. 9 people in the same room hoping to be elected, right? 2 of them can have a coherent conversation about any subject. The rest of them have no clue, which is why we were having a media brief. I'm not even exaggerating this. There was a woman there who won a seat to our state senate, who is by all definitions a perfect candidate. She was she had the resume and the charisma and the kids and the husband and all this other, but if she could spell her name, I would have been surprised. She was literally the walking papers that we had for her, because I was like in support of them. Was you can't put her next to a mic. You just cannot have her speak words in public, or things will go south, because she doesn't know words. She doesn't know positions, she doesn't know words, and that's why she's in this media briefing, because we have to break it down. Not in the 6th grade language, like in 2nd grade. We have picture cards and it's ridiculous. So it was my first real glimpse into the nonsense that is our political realm. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no win here. Are you kidding me? So basically it's charisma more than anything else. It's populism. It's not necessarily what you know and how you can execute, or what your real experience, what you've done. It's what it appears like you have done, right? I do not have a college degree. I do not have a high school diploma. I do not have a high school diploma. Yeah, I have a GED. When I got out of the military, I was a homeless vet. On paper, I look like absolute dog shit, right? I have perfect credit. I take care of my bills. And I run 3 businesses that generate over $1 million in revenue with 18 to 21 employees. Not a bad place to be. So all the shit that I've done, right, has nothing to do with what I look like or what my charisma is, or you know what I mean? Like, none of those things factor into the reality of who I am as a person. That's have I arrived there? Have I arrived there? Do we have anybody listening? Is people clicking off yet? All right. Because I'm going to get to the other shit that it just tears me up. It just absolutely, it's at a point where now that I can see it, and now that I'm part of it, it both scares the living crap out of me and makes me realize why we've had so much success and why we've gotten where we've gotten. And we have had some really funny conversations this week. I'm going to share it all with you, because I feel like this is a very interesting journey. We're all on this journey together. Quite frankly, you guys are the reason why I am sitting here. It's the reason why our businesses are doing well, why we've been able to branch into these other areas. And not to share that with you or to put it behind some kind of, who cares? Like, why? Why do I care? Like, what does it matter? What do you got? You know what I mean? Most of you have my social security number already. You know what I mean? Like, I get hacked, like, constantly. You know what I mean? So, like, what does it matter? So that's what we're going to do. All right. Now, go ahead. Did I need to stop?
We have a super chat.
Super chat. Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
We have a super chat from Char Q. Gave us $4.99. Says, "Look at you, buddy," and praise KJ.
Praise KJ. Yeah. All right. Good.
Good.
All right. So I'm starting with the good stuff. That was the easy thing. Now I'm going to get to why we don't believe what we want to believe. Why we know that everyone has an agenda, or the people that we elect often have their own agenda. It doesn't seem to. So a few people got in a room, and they decided we're going to have this F1 event. Now, those of you who are not in Vegas and who sat home and watched the event, it looked like pretty fantastic. Other than, the event got off to a bit of a rocky start, but ultimately it looked great on TV. Even the drivers started coming around. Even the one guy that was talking shit about Vegas the whole time he was here, after the fact, apparently, he was praising that Vegas was better event than he thought it was, and it turns out it was one of the biggest events they had of the year. So they're like, yay, we want to come back now and all that thing. But let me just tell you, it was an absolute nightmare for 6 months. If you worked here or worked anywhere near the Las Vegas Strip, it impacted your life on the next level. And when I say next level, I mean if you have kids, if you had families, if you had shit to do or places to go, if you worked anywhere on the Strip, you had to start leaving an hour to 2 hours early to get to work. How many of you would have wanted to do that? Hour to 2 hours early. I'm not even kidding. There's no exaggeration. When we had to leave here or the house we had, it was an hour on the day, leading up to that construction site because everything was just shut down in every direction. There's all these other projects that are going on. We're rebuilding the highway. Everything was going on at the same time. It was just absolute insanity. The Sphere was being finished. The F1 with the Grand Prix, they were building their whole station on top of it. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. Now, to leave, depending upon what shift, it was also, in some cases, an hour to get out of your damn garage. Like, it was just so crazy how congested it was and how much of an impact it had on so many people. Then you get to this day, right, where they were talking about this massive economic impact. Listen, there were a few people, a few casinos, and a small minority of people that profited extraordinarily from this 2-day event. But everybody else took it in the proverbial ass. And a lot of those people had a chance this Tuesday to go in front of the Clark County Commission and really just lay in. And I am so proud. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have been there. I frankly did not hear about it, did not know about it, but I would have loved to have been there. And here's the thing that irks me the most. I know a lot of properties did not work. It did not work out well for them. When F1 was first announced, some of these properties, they jacked up all the room rates. They thought that there was so many people coming here and everybody was going to benefit. The town was going to fill up and all this money was going to start flowing in literally all over town. That didn't happen because all of these people came to the same core properties. And people just didn't, it just didn't branch out like everybody thought. Even though there was influx of people that came to Vegas and they were accommodated in Vegas, all these other properties and restaurants, anyone outside of this small circle of properties, the dealers that worked at casinos that were not part of this core group of casinos, they didn't make any money. The mall was dead. The mall was so dead, by the way, those 2 days, that there were stores that just didn't even bother. They didn't even open or they closed early. I mean, the mall was dead. You wouldn't know that by the parking lot because everybody was parking in the damn parking lot, which is the next thing we had. But the mall was dead. So recently, there's one casino who they came out and said this. So I'm just going to repeat it. It said, so the Stratosphere, Golden Entertainment Chairman and CEO Blake Sartini. He called F1 a worldwide event. It was packaged for television for the global market. And he said, well, the exposure didn't help the bottom line at the Strat. However, they felt that even though we didn't participate in what we expected to be the upside, I personally think it was a great event for the city. I hear this over and over again. I hear this from executives. Nobody wants to unchain the ball. Like, nobody wants to speak to the absolute truth. And this is the problem. It's like we're all saying, well, it was a great event for Vegas. Really was a great event. How about it would have been a better event for Vegas if it was mitigated and planned better and more people got in the room to say no and to accommodate literally the rest of us, like the 98% of us that got zero benefit, who had, listen, if you had kids, and I heard from lots of people with kids in daycare, the costs obviously were, now you have to accommodate 3 more hours, 4 more hours a day just for your commute time. This isn't that big a valley. I mean, it's not like California where you're sitting in traffic for hours on end. You can, even though it does get a little bit traffic there, but you can still go from one side to the other in, let's say, 40 minutes typically, So like if you were that impacted, you lost a lot of money over 6 months. Not to mention, you want to be green? Like we're all sitting there, wasting gas and traffic. I mean, it was an endless bit of nightmare for these few people to have decided that they were going to rip up and interact with the Strip for those 2 days. You have absolutely no idea. It just pisses me off to no end. And then here they are after the fact. And of course, they're like, well, we got to do a better job next year. Well, what does that mean? First of all, there's all these numbers floating around about the economic impact. Was it $1.5 billion? Was it $800 million? Was it $500 million? No one seems to know because everyone's keeping it tight to the vest because the real numbers, I'm sure, suck for a lot of properties, not just the Strat. Strat's on the Strip. Strat was really, you would think that they would have benefited from this, right? There'd be some upside. Look about Batista's hole in the wall, this whole area, Piero's and places relatively close. They all got, business sucked for them. I mean, all these businesses very close. So outside of this little circle, the Wynn did great, the Aria did great. You know what I mean? Like all those properties you would expect to get, all those bougie people that stayed in those expensive suites, and it all did great. But for the rest of us, it sucked. And to say that now they're going to be like, well, the impact's going to be less. What does that mean? Like let's quantify that. What does that mean? The impact's going to be less? Because that's the next report that Formula One comes up with is, well, we're gonna do a much better job. The footprint is less. You know, there's a lot of things that we're gonna do better, and that we've learned the lessons. That doesn't mean anything. I could learn a lesson and do the same thing. That's just all for consumption. That's all bullshit. There we go. Okay. Is anybody commenting? Yeah. All right. But good for the F1 in saying that the race is the most successful thing. Here's what I think, right? They are hiring a big events team, basically. So County Commission is putting together a team that is going to be managing big events or dealing with big events, which clearly F1, big event. And hopefully this team will have some more outreach, talk to some more people, and recognize the impact that something like this, this should never have taken place, let's be honest. This money didn't go into average Americans' pocket, or not average, average Las Vegans' pockets. This didn't benefit the average Las Vegas person. And I feel like if more people would come out and talk about it in an honest way, we can look at ways of having a better event. I'm not saying that we don't want F1. I'm not saying that we don't want a sports event going right down the middle of the fucking strip. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that F1 on the whole as an event is a great opportunity for Vegas. There's no doubt about it. But let's all come together and find a way to make this an event that benefits everyone, not just a couple people. And not just somebody's ego because they want to be right? Because now they're just spinning a bunch of nonsense to make it sound like, well, even though it was a hardship that we had, it still worked out great. It really didn't. It really didn't, because that's all nothing. That's all nonsense. And now let's move on from the nonsense and find a way for all of us together have a kumbaya moment. You know what I'm saying? That's the F1 thing. You ready?
A couple of people in chat, saying that, Super Bowl was a good thing.
Super Bowl is great. Yeah, of course Super Bowl. You know why? You know why Super Bowl is great? Because everybody went everywhere. The Strip wasn't shut down. This is a walking destination. I've heard that, by the way, I heard that a lot from our community, how Vegas is a walking destination. You come to Vegas and you start walking down the street and you get to enjoy lots of things. Guess what people did when they came for Super Bowl? They stayed for the whole weekend and they walked down the street exactly as intended. You know what I mean? You couldn't do that for F1. They blocked off all the sidewalks. You could only go, they literally took out all the trees in front of the Bellagio. You couldn't even go and sit in front of the fountains, which is, by the way, one of the #1 places to be in Vegas, literally. You follow? Like they literally shut down the Strip as it's intended to be used. Super Bowl, fantastic. New Year's Eve, fantastic. These kinds of events that support even more people than this F1 are great events because they fit the design, they fit how Vegas is supposed to work. And everybody benefited. Super Bowl, everybody benefited. All the local properties benefited. Everybody was filled up. Occupancies were off the chart. Do you know that some casinos reported their lowest occupancy in their history during F1? That shouldn't be a thing, right? I mean, but they don't want to talk about it because they want to say, listen, F1 is good for us. It's a long-term vision. You know what I mean? It's not a long-term vision unless these people literally get in the room and stop smelling their own farts. Literally get in the room and start talking constructively about how this can benefit everybody and not just a few people. For one, and the one thing I will tell you that F1 is doing this year, I think that is a positive spin, they're already making tickets available to locals at a discount. How about that? Wouldn't that have been great? Instead of some nonsense prices that they had that most people couldn't afford in the first place. And by the way, spending 2 hours in traffic to get there wasn't a thing. Because if you work on the Strip, now you want to be in more traffic just to stay and work at the event? No. So having those tickets available and getting more people engaged and wanting to be part of this event, I think that's a positive thing. How about making tickets available only direct? You know what I mean? Where they're not brokered, they're not upsold. You don't have to buy it through, Ticket Hub, you know what I mean, at some ridiculously overpriced. How about making more of these tickets? Because I would bet that more people would have come if they could have gotten their hands on tickets that were affordable. And they thought they could actually have a seat where you can actually watch the damn race, not some nosebleed thing on some, a part for the seat. I bet a lot of people would have come, you know what I mean? They could have incentivized packages or buses coming from casinos that were local. I mean, there's so many things we could talk about. So many different ways. They could have mitigated the traffic. They could have expanded this sort of sphere of influence or the number of casinos that were involved in this. I mean, it would have been easy if enough people were in that room, right? But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to talk about it because who the hell am I? You know what I mean? We got nothing. We want you to come out anyways. But our business took a hit that week. But the saving grace for us is many people rescheduled for the next week. So our next week after F1, we were busy. We were sold out some days. So it worked out for us, to be honest with you, as far as that goes. So the week that now, not labor-wise, not so much, right? Because we still had everybody on available. But it didn't really. It only impacted us for the couple weeks leading up when all of the traffic concerns were really getting out and everyone was talking about everything was impacted. That slowed down our reservations. And then of course the week of, it was just crazy because they filled up the fashion show parking lot because we're right there. People park there because it's free, and then they go and do other shit. So you come to the mall thinking it's so busy, and then you realize there's nobody there because they're just using parking there and then moving on. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I wish, I'm going to get past this because, got to move on to the next topic. All right, you ready? Good? Okay, so my next topic is, quite frankly, it kind of goes into the same vein. I'm very excited that the Sphere is a genuine success. I believe that the man leading the Sphere, this is the company behind Madison Square Garden. He's there's a lot of strange rumors coming out of that property, and I'm not gonna, regarding like employment, things like this. Apparently, there might be dealing with some turnover issues, and he's known to be a guy that is, let's just say, he expects a lot from his employees, and he's all about execution and everything else. And so, without actually being an employee, we've only heard from people who have been there who say it's a bit of a, if you go to work, you're going to get paid well. But expect that, being a veteran or getting full-time benefits, stuff like that is a tough bridge to climb. And they have a lot of turnover because of that. I also will say that if you're going to build a venue that has 18,000 seats, you're going to want more than 300 parking spaces. You know what I mean? And this is another one of those things where it just boggles the mind that that's even a thing. Like, because this is the lead-in to Oakland A's. So the Sphere has a venue. Okay, get this. It has 300 parking spaces. It has 18,000 seats. Now, we've already done the math for you. 600 people have to come in each car. So you got to have a clown car or a dimensional door installed. If any of you D&D nerds like me, you got to have a dimensional door or a bag of holding. Just have everybody jump into the bag of holding in your whatever the hell you're bringing there, and that's the only way to occupy this space in any kind of function. So the idea of a venue having 18,000 seats but 300 parking spaces is just ridiculous. It proves everything I'm saying. No, it proves everything I'm saying. I mean, right? I mean, I it's just like 1 + 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, people got in a room and approved this building, which it's a fantastic building. It's a fantastic venue. I absolutely am I am the huge fan. I haven't been to a show, but everyone that's been there has said it's a fantastic experience. Literally no one has walked away and said, oh my God, everyone has had a fantastic. Now, they haven't talked about parking because I'm guessing they didn't park there or they just got dropped off or whatever the case is. But guess where everybody parks? They park at the mall. You know what I mean? So when there's a big event going on, they'll park at the Venetian, and then they'll make their way over to fashion show, and now there's no parking. And because fashion show is free parking, and you go there, and we work there, and we can't find any parking spaces, and you're like, oh, how exciting is this? I got some random Wednesday. The mall is packed. No, it's not packed. There's an event at the Sphere, dude. You know what I mean? Like, again, this is Vegas, and if this is a part of Vegas, I feel like is the most in jeopardy. How we are just going ahead and being like, oh, fantastic idea. You coming with enough money? We got you back. We got you. We're here for you. And then we have the Tropicana. All right, ready? Okay, so the Tropicana is the place where I tried to work as a dealer for many years. I would go there, try to audition. I even would pass my audition. I couldn't get hired at the Tropicana because one guy finally had mercy on me. So there was a couple weeks in a row where I met this pit manager. I still remember him to this day. He's a really nice guy. So I go in there one afternoon, and I'm sitting on this table, and I'm in my black and whites, and I've already auditioned a few times. He knows me. He's seen me before, and he comes over and he starts talking to me, and he's very nice, and he's like, hey, he's asking me where I work, and that's why. So for like the next week, I would come. I'd heard all these stories about dealers getting hired by just going over and over again, just breaking down the door and auditioning. So, years ago, you didn't have to go through HR. You just had to show up in the pit ready to do what's called an audition. So I'd show up in my black and whites. I'd ask for an audition, and they would put me on a table, and they would audition me. And if they liked me, they would put me on a list of people they'd want to hire, right? And so hopefully I get a call back, and they would hire me. And I love the Tropicana. I used to play there. I used to find dates there. I mean, I knew the place up and down. I knew the garden rooms. I knew the tower rooms. I mean, it was just a place that I was really just very comfortable at for some reason. I'd also wanted to get into Caesars and Mirage for the money, but Tropicana just seemed like, it was also a sleeper. By that it meant that they had a small pit, they had a limited number of dealers, and they made a great living, and I just thought it'd be a great place to be. So for a week, actually a couple of weeks, every now and then I would go in there when I had time, and I didn't have a car. So I would have to walk there, and I'd have to walk there from wherever I was, and I would go up, and I only went on the days where this certain pit manager was. And so I go there day after day, week after week, and I see this guy, and he was just the nicest guy. And he finally says, listen, he pulled me over to the side, and he's like, David, I got to tell you, man, you're a great dealer. I would love to hire you. He goes and he brings out this clipboard, and he rolls the clipboard over, and there is a list of names on the other side of this clipboard. It's just names. They're handwritten names. And he shows me this list, and he says, I don't know anybody on this list, or at least I don't know most of the people on this list. If any of these people come, I have to hire them before you, and I don't even know if they're a very good dealer. He's like, but that's the truth of it. There's no point in you. This is not one of those jobs where you can show up and I can find you a spot. I can't find you a spot because I got to hire all these people first. And of course, that was the last time I auditioned there. Done. That was a bit of truth. But I wish I had heard that truth weeks earlier. It would have saved me a lot of time because I had to walk to this trop, and I wasn't even close. I used to live behind, where the landmark is. You guys were by Paradise, so where like the Wynn is, behind where the Wynn is now, by the convention center. But I was so appreciative that at least he was honest with me. That there was no shot. I mean, it was devastating, but there it was. But anyways, over the years, the Tropicana has tried to evolve, and this is a company which I don't know who the hell is another part of it. I just don't understand. Those of you who've been following the Sahara. I don't know if you went to SLS, now it's back to Sahara. I mean, they've spent so much time and money remodeling the valet. It's amazing that they have any money left. That place has been under renovation for so long. It's amazing. It looks great. There was, and I know I'm getting a little bit tangential, but it plays into where the Tropicana. These people, I would say these people. I don't know who these people are, to be honest with you, but they just love to spend money. And I don't think that, I think they get ideas in their head that aren't part of the organic human experience that the rest of us are part of. You know what I mean? Like there are ways where, there are things that are given, that are part of the experience, that we know are part of the experience, but are just so lost on people with more money than sense. Here the Sahara has been rebuilt so many times. They hired a design team when they became the SLS, that it was just the most atrocious destination I had ever seen. I couldn't believe it. I was invited in there. We used to work with the Sahara, and again, people are gonna be like, David, no, it is what it is, man. So I go in there, and I'm invited in, and I'm there to see the new place, and the first thing I see is the VIP area that is built behind this bubble. It's built behind this thing. And there are those seats. Ever been to someone's house? I used to have a friend of mine, a very eclectic friend, who had this house with these seats that were hands. You'd sit on the hand. It was like sitting on the ass. You'd sit your ass, and so it was like a hand. And here they had all these hands, and it was supposed to be this they had these uniforms for the dealers that had a monkey on their back. A monkey on their back for the dealers. The dealer vest had a monkey on their back. And the carpet was literally like, if you were on LSD, if you came there high on acid, you would be like, you would totally get it, dude. But look at that carpet and go, oh my God, I've found a home. But someone signed off on what, some of the most outrageous designs I've ever seen. The rooms that they built when they renovated the Sahara, now these are all gone. This has all been redone. They put the bathrooms in the closet. They had this sliding closet, and you would have the bed. I know because I stayed there, by the way. This is something I experienced firsthand. They had floating couches was a feature. If you do a thing, Sahara, SLS floating couches, so at night you could you can illuminate your couch, dude. Because, when was the last time you were like, holy crap, I wish my couch was glowing right now? You know what I mean? Now, I would love that because I trip over shit on the way to the bathroom, so maybe like a glowing couch here and there might not be the worst thing. But can you imagine? You've lost all your money, you're a little bit hungover, your lady of the night has left you, and all you have now to stare at is your glowing couch. You're wondering what the hell happened, you know what I mean? So they called it a floating couch. It was supposed to look like it was floating because it would just, the part of the couch would glow and the rest of it, anyway. But here's the bed, okay? Can they see this? Can they see the bed? Can they see this if I do this as the bed? I wish I had a thing. So basically, let's say this is the bed. Okay, here's the bed.
Moving forward.
Okay, here's the bed. Push it back. Okay, here's the bed. Okay, now imagine this. The room, here's the square room, and there's a closet right behind the bed with a sliding glass door. No kidding. This is a thing, by the way, sliding glass door. Okay, now if you open up the sliding glass door, okay, you would think it's a closet. No. It's a shitter and a little shower. It's a shitter on one side and a shower on the other side. Can they see that? I don't know. I'm trying to, I should have had like a thing. So here's the bed. Here's the head of the bed. Here is the shitter, and here is the shower, literally right there. Now, can you imagine? Okay, that's it. Can they get that? Yeah, they got to see a little bit. Okay, so at the head of the bed is your shitter. Who in their right mind wants a shitter? I say shitter in the best sense. The pooper. What do you call it? The water closet. The bathroom. Yes. If I'm on either a date, if I'm here, listen. What are the two things that people want to do in Vegas, dude? They want to get rich and get laid. I always say that in some capacity. That's if you come, you can come here for the food, the entertainment, and all that stuff. But usually you want to win or get laid, right? Isn't that on the top of the list somewhere? That's at the top of the list. Now, let's say in the middle of either one of those things, someone has to use the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Do you move yourself and go onto the floating couch and just watch from afar? I mean, because can you imagine just, your significant other has a growler in the middle of like this whole experience? It's right there, dude. They're literally just right where your head and your pillow. I mean, the idea that the thought that someone planned that someone literally said, guess where I'm going to put the shitter? I'm going to put the shitter 1 foot away from the head of where someone's sleeping. And they're like, that is a genius idea, dude. Right with the monkey on the dealer's back, you guys are just knocking it out. And the hand up some VIP's ass, you guys have just knocked it out of the park. And you should have seen the wallpaper in the room. The wallpaper looked like burnt wood coming up from the ground. Literally burnt trees, dude, coming off the back. It just boggles the mind, literally boggles the mind. Like people got together, they spent a shit ton of money. They had to redo all that. By the way, all that's gone. My understanding is all, and they've of course rebranded because SLS didn't catch on. No shit, SLS. What the hell is SLS? That doesn't mean it. Sahara has been around Vegas. It's literally a brand that Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and all these guys like contributed to. Why wouldn't you stick with that? Anyways, what the hell do I know? Okay, so enter the Tropicana. Tropicana's been through this whole renaissance of trying to figure out what the hell it was. You know what it was? It was a really classic casino with a lot of really great attributes. Unfortunately for them, they built this tower out on that took 2 hours to get to from the front desk. They built out, I don't know if it was also called the Ipanema. I forget what it's called. I forget what the tower is, the new towers. I used to know what the names were, but if you checked into the Tropicana when they built those new towers, man, I mean, you really had to rethink your adventure. I mean, it was so long. Have you ever you've ever gone to like the Atlanta airport where you have to get on the train to get to the other train to get to wherever it's a big ass airport. It's laid out on we went to Atlanta. Me and Dennis went to Atlanta. You have to take the train. There's a train in the airport, for those of you who haven't been there, just to get to the other part of the damn airport. And the Trop needed that. You know what I mean? Literally, they needed that. You'd go through this long walkway, and it was just on and on and on. It was so on and on and on that they had like cooling stations on the way. It was just ridiculous. Those of you who have walked from the MGM, if you've come from like the parking lot and then you've, the self-parking and you've gone all the way through that retail area and the restaurant row and then onto your check-in and then to one of the towers, it was longer than that, okay? So like literally longer than that. These are a miss. This is a miss, I'm just saying. Like what you should have done is set up registration or hotels for those buildings back. I don't know. But anyways, Tropicana has spent ridiculous sums of money trying to reinvent itself. This last reinvention, it was just, I mean, me and a friend of mine, we would just drive by there. And I don't know listen, I don't pretend to know a lot about architecture, or I'm not a designer. I can't say, I'm not a creative person. I'm more of an execution kind of person. And I look at how things are organic and how people fit into how people would interact realistically. The colors and a lot of those things are secondary to me. I want people, there has to be some kind of function or utility or reason why people want to be part of a space or part of an experience. And so here it is, the Tropicana rebuild, and they wanted to get really close. So they rebuilt this frontage that tried to get really close to the Strip. And in the process, they literally whacked their whole valet experience. And the whole frontage became this canopy, this like wooden canopy. I mean, it was just crazy. And they literally dummied up their place. Even though they spent a shit ton of money trying to recreate themselves and do this whole white-themed, I don't know, like island type of, fitting that whole Tropicana thing. It just seemed like such a miss. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But anyways, so here it is. Tropicana is going to be no more. It was bought by Bally's. Bally's is going to whack it and, completely. And it's not going to come back because the Tropicana is done, dude. There's no more Tropicana. Those of you that want Tropicana stuff, you better get over there quickly, buy some chips, get some shirts, whatever the case is, because there's no more Trop. It's going to reopen as a Bally's. And Bally's is in conversation right now with someone who wants to buy Bally's. And so who knows what the end result is. But ultimately, everybody knows they want to build. They want the Oakland A's to come here. Now, here it is, Oakland A's. Let's be frank. Those of you who know about sports, or those of you who don't, this is literally one of the most hated owners in all of baseball. Like, this guy can't be hated anymore. Like, everybody wants him to exit stage left. He's done nothing but suck money from this team. He's not done any kind of investments. The Oakland A's have been a losing proposition for quite a while, right? And he just sits back and collects his money. He doesn't care. He's happy and he's proud that he's able to be part of this community, and he just takes. And Oakland wasn't willing to offer up enough billions of dollars or whatever the case is for him to have a free stadium, or whatever updates he was looking to have. I don't know the whole thing, but I know he was looking to get this brand new stadium, and it was supposed to be right on the waterfront and whatever else. And they were like, no, they just ran out of patience and money. And so now he wants to come here, and he wants us to have that problem. The problem is that Vegas is not known to give out a lot of stuff. Well, we give out a lot of stuff if you have a race car, you know what I mean, and you want to interrupt enough people's lives. But we're just not known to just give away too much free money. Although we have, we've definitely incentivized quite a few companies to come to Vegas in different. We've tried to diversify what we have to offer. But here come the Oakland A's, and it's not a done deal. I know a lot of people like it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But my understanding is there's a lot of stuff that they still have to deliver. There's still a lot of conditional stuff, and we, they haven't really decided how much are the A's going to pay, how much is Vegas, or what kind of incentives we're going to give them. But right now, it looks like it's full steam ahead. It's going to be 9 acres. It's going to be 9 acres. Are going to be allocated for this baseball park. And now baseball, of course, has a lot more games during the year. There's a lot more potential people to come here. And on the surface, there's no doubt that I would love for us to have all the teams, like just me personally. I would love to have, when I say all the sports, I would love to have all the sports. I would love to have, if you're a football fan, come for football, which you can, Raiders. A soccer fan, we used to have a minor league. I'm not sure where we're at with the soccer, but I know we have a women's professional soccer, right? But we have lots. I know we're not big on the sports balls. Sorry, people, don't beat us up. But we have a minor league baseball. We have minor league baseball. We obviously have hockey here. So having all the sports, maybe even a basketball team at some point, I think would be fantastic. It used to be running Rebels. Our college basketball was fantastic under Tarkanian. But us being a destination for food, sports, everything, entertainment, I think is really great. I mean, it's great for Vegas if you live here, right? We can talk about the gambling and everything that comes with it, of course. But I would love an Oakland A's. Not under this dude though. Not under this guy. There's no doubt about it. That this guy is just a greedy schmuck who just to get out of his own way and just live it up. Just give it up to somebody else who might see this as a more fortuitous thing and is willing to make make an investment on his own. But we do want our politicians, man, to advocate for us as individuals. You know what I mean? Advocate for our community and not just see, this potential windfall, because it might not be that, right? It really might not be that. First of all, I really would like to know how they're going to fit all these people in cars. Can you imagine the Raiders, the Knights, the Oakland A's, and Bruno Mars all perform, and the T-Mobile Arena or the Park MGM, and Lady Gaga, all these shows going on, let's say, or all these venues going on in the same weekend. You know what I mean? It would be an absolute nightmare. I don't understand how they're moving people, let alone cars, or how they're going to be moving. First of all, we know there's not going to be. Now, this venue will have like 50,000 seats, 40,000 seats. So maybe they're guaranteed to build at least 400 parking spaces. You know what I mean? Like maybe 500 parking spaces, because that would go in line. The Raiders Stadium, by the way, has like a huge shortfall of parking spaces too. They told everybody to go suck it. I mean, really, they were supposed to come out with all these, traffic impact studies. Everyone just suck it. And everybody's like, listen, we're busy sucking it. You know what I mean? So now we have Oakland A's. And with everything that went on with the Formula One, I have a feeling this is going to be another suck it moment. I mean, I feel like, Oakland A's are coming. Or something bigger and scarier. Maybe the next Godzilla installment is on its way. Maybe literally Godzilla will come up from the ground, and you know what I mean? A mechanized Godzilla attraction. Wouldn't that be great? That one I could sign on to.
Oh my God. You
guys are losing a little context in there. But anyways, like what's next? Like, you know what I mean? Like if Formula One did a thing, like what's next for Vegas? So this is my. I would love to know what the plan is. I would love to see them have a parking plan, right? A traffic study. All the things that are normally part of impacting 1 million or 2 million people. Just do all the things that I would have to do, because I guarantee you, if I went down to the county right now, me, David, and I said to them, I want to build a park, they'd be like, dude, do you know that I had to submit the parking design for Fashion Show Mall, for my little store inside Fashion Show Mall? Can you imagine? I had to demonstrate and show them in a material way, like literally sight lines, pictures of the damn parking structures, that I had enough parking for people to visit my little store, 4,800 square feet inside of the Fashion Show Mall. Because I was like, I'm at the Fashion Show Mall, dude. Like, at what point did you know what I mean? Like, it's a park. We have parking. I mean, I have all the parking I need. There's no. The only time I don't have parking is when the sphere that you approved for 300 spaces, they run out of parking, then I don't have parking. How about that? Let's have that conversation. But I mean, so like the rest of us in the real world, as we're trying to create opportunity for ourselves, we got to come with all of it. You know what I mean? We don't have a chance to just say suck it and opt out. We literally have to be all in or we're out. Anyways, and this brings me, okay, that's the Oakland A's thing. Are you ready? All right, do we have anybody left?
We have a couple super chats.
Oh, really?
Wait, let me.
Because I'm going to get to us. I'm going to talk a little bit about our training center and about our business in the context of all of this. All right, go.
Derek,
yeah,
gives $1.99, says, no more floating craps table, in reference to Chop.
Yeah, so by the way, a very small. This is the part of the lore I love about Vegas. So the two places that had floating craps tables, Trop and Sands. So if you go way back in time, there's a famous picture of a craps table. I believe it's in the 60s, based on the way the shorts looked. You know what I mean? That is most of that is, I think, the sands. You'll notice if the trop looks like where you see the table and the pool goes out into a bigger space into a lagoon. But if you see a picture where it's a smaller pool and you see a bunch of people just having swimming up to it, that is actually the sands. What a fantastic thing, by the way. That was a thing. I seriously doubt that'll ever be a thing again. But anyways, yeah, no kidding, man. I would have loved to have been part of that or been a dealer on that table. Would have been great. Go ahead.
He gave us another super chat for $1.99. Says 2028, David gets season tickets for the A's.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know who's been really generous with us? Which, by the way, nothing but wins. The Golden Knights. Like the Golden Knights have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, great for the city. You know what's funny is like there's so many people here in the city that did not think the Knights would take off, and tremendously this whole city got behind the Knights in such a way that I think is literally just fantastic. I mean, I think slowly the Raiders are also being adapted, and there's a lot of people moved here that are Raiders fans. But it was amazing. I grew up as a hockey fan. Boston Bruins. Bobby Orr. It was a little bit before my time, but Boston Bruins was still big when I grew up on the East Coast, and I played hockey myself. But seeing hockey take off was there was a lot of skepticism, but ultimately I think it made perfect sense. It's a very aggressive. It's a sport that people can really. The utility of it's fantastic. I mean, if you get to see a hockey game, there's always something to watch. People are losing teeth constantly. You know what I mean? There's a lot of wonderful things going on. You know what I mean? All right.
Pro Crops gave us $5 super chat.
Hi, Pro. Hi, John.
So he says, so are you saying that I shouldn't move there and work for CQ, or are you saying I should move there and run for office to fix things?
Dude. Running for office here is literally yikes. I was part of quite a few campaigns, it's like you would expect, man. It's when they say it's a cesspool, I think a lot of people get into it for the right reasons, and then it quickly goes south when you realize, when you're faced with the facts, the fact of raising money, building awareness, and there's just so many people incentivized by their own agenda. Like literally, like this is the definition. But yeah, if you come out here and run for office, by the way, John is a fantastic. He can articulate well. Got a lot of energy. You would be a great one, I think. To run for office. So I would say both. How about that? Yeah.
Snapper
says,
how is March Madness going at the mall?
March Madness is off and running. We just did our first event the other day, which is fantastic. And so we're off and running. We have 10 total dates. We have 9 more dates to go. We love it. So so we have our dealers from the school primarily. All of the dealers there are from the school. So they're new dealers or they're break-in dealers. And it's a great exposure. It's great exposure. If you're still looking to learn the games, from Material Way, that kind of thing, you got to come to Casino Quest. But if you're just looking to hang out and play, definitely check out the floor there. If you happen to be in town on the March Madness dates, I guess we should probably publish a list of dates. But it's free. It's completely free. Now remember, these are break-in dealers. These are brand new dealers. These are old dealers from our school, and we pay them. We pay them well. I mean, we pay them well for the time that they're there. The agreement that I drew up made sure that the dealers were paid well. So it's a win for everybody. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, I saw a good question here. Someone asked,
Yep.
Where is Vegas going to get that extra water for its growth? We actually don't waste that much water.
So what's an interesting thing about all of the? I agree. So here's the thing. First is there's we have Lake Mead, which I know has been at the front of a lot of news. Lake Mead is getting lower. Of course, 40 feet now. The good news is we are 40 feet higher than we were in 2022. We're actually, our water is actually doing well. And our state very specifically uses the least amount of water and manages the water very efficiently. We have one of the best water districts or water district managing groups there anywhere. 95% of our tap water is returned to us. Like literally, the efficiency of our water system is outrageous. In fact, if you look it up, you will see that we use, as far as the acreage or the unit of measurement they use for the water, Vegas uses the absolute least, and our management is actually very good. Like, we're not growing almonds here. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to squeeze almond milk out of almonds. So we've gotten rid of most of our grass. If you come here now, we have a few bad apples, as you can expect, and there's a lot of stuff that we can do to improve. But if you go around Vegas or most areas of Vegas, you won't see a lot of grass. You'll see a lot of fake grass. You'll only see trees that are really built for a desert climate that don't need a lot of precipitation. So now the question is, okay, given all of that, and given all that we become very, very good stewards, where do we get the rest of the water? I think the world is shifting in a way that it will benefit us because the last couple of years have been very good for Vegas and like the Southern California area. And so far, there hasn't been an issue. I mean, we ran up against it a couple of years ago, and I know that everybody put out the warnings that we were running into some trouble. But ultimately, we've weathered it really, really well. Like right now, there's literally no issue, at least for the foreseeable future. And I think this is where we have to become better stewards. Like we got to grow crops that are normally grown, in these kinds of climates. Like we shouldn't be growing stuff that needs a lot more water than we're used to getting. Like leave those crops. Like why are we, you know what I mean? What is it? Is it almonds? It's almond.
Almonds.
Why are we doing almonds? Why are we doing these things? Because why are we doing them? Because they're profitable, and people are like, oh my God, I got an almond from California. No one cares, dude. Save the flipping water, right? Like, let's grow shit that we should be growing, in the areas of our country that are more prone for that, are more supportive for that. See, this is the kind of stuff that sounds like common sense, you know what I mean? But just isn't, because everybody wants to do their own shit at their own expense without thinking about how it impacts other people, and that's how we get it. They built this Lake Las Vegas, right? They built this bougie-ass community, which, by the way, really nice houses, great development. They built a big lake. They made a big ass. See that? You want to know the bad apple here in this community? It's in Henderson. It's called the lake. What is it? It's called the Lakes.
The Henderson Lakes.
It's the Henderson Lakes, and they built this man-made lake. You know who the biggest bad apple is in all of our? Because of that big ass man-made lake. Of course, it's a man-made lake. Why would we have another? Our only lake is Lake Mead. You know what I mean? They built this big-ass lake, and guess what? It evaporates. The lake loses a lot of water. It's our worst. It accounts for all these other, they talk about how everybody's got pools and stuff, but the pools is kind of negligible compared to the big lake. And who does the lake help? The lake is just, it's for atmosphere. It's a cosmetic addition for a few people that can afford to build a house on the lake. How about we tell those people to suck it, drain the lake, put the water back in the damn Lake Mead, put it back under the conservation that it needs to be, because ultimately that's what's going to happen. Already the lake is receded, and I think it hasn't serviced, the houses that were supposed to be built on the lake. But this is the kind of nonsense that goes on, right? Because none of us, if you're asking what's our water problems? Well, okay, we have water problems. Let's not build a flipping lake. Let's not have a lake for people who can afford to live on a lake. And if they can afford to live on a lake, they can afford to build a house somewhere else and maybe have a pool or something like this. They don't need to be on a lake that the rest of us have to support. But hey, what do I know? I'm just David. I'm just sitting here. I don't know anything. Go. What else you got? Anything else?
I think for
all right.
no.
So I had some. Go ahead.
I want to move to Vegas and go to your school.
Yeah.
Any tips for moving there?
Live on the southwest side. We love this. So we recently got a house in the Southern Highlands area. Love it. If you can find a room to rent in this area, it's fantastic. There's less traffic. There's people walking and beautiful parks. I mean, really nice area. I would say stay west, far west, west, southwest is really just focus on those areas. If I'm assuming you have a car, if you don't have a car, obviously you have to be more, be focused on like where bus and transit is. And then you want to be mindful of how the buses run. Then I would stay Rainbow, South Rainbow. One of these days we're going to publish a map. We just don't want people, so we used to give out advice on where to live here in Vegas. And I wouldn't say backfired on us, but people have had, let's just say, different commentary right? Where they because nothing is guaranteed, man. I mean, all we can do is give you a suggestion and recommend, hey, these are the areas that we find more suitable, but it might not be the most suitable. Shit happens literally anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go nowadays, But I would stay, just as a general rule, southwest are sort of the nicest areas of town, have the least amount of issues, least amount of traffic. That's not always true. There's an area by Rainbow and 215 that absolutely sucks. Summerlin can be very expensive, but it does have a lot of bus routes, a lot of shopping. A lot of people love Summerlin area. If you're older, for sure, Summerlin is really a good place to start. Also, far east, Henderson's starting to move up the chain when it comes to lack of affordability, quite honestly. It used to be Hicksville. Henderson was like literally where if you didn't own a pickup truck, you were probably getting worked over. You know what I mean? You had to have a pickup truck down there, and that was like the joke about Henderson. But Henderson's come a long way. There's still area of Henderson that are really nice, or there's really nice areas of Henderson. You don't want to live anywhere near Water Street, although that's been evolving. But anyways, there's a lot that you can find online. You can also shoot us the email info@CG Dealer School. I can give you some just some tips. I would recommend just doing the Airbnb thing for the first 30 days, getting familiar before you sign a lease. Before you do that, just do it if you can't afford it. Do a 30-day. They give you some discounts. There's some out here that are pretty affordable, like less than a hotel, less than pretty affordable. And then really look around, go to these neighborhoods, investigate these apartments. There's for example, there's an apartment on Paradise that's Elysian that we actually looked at.
I think it's Elysium or something.
Elysium, and it's terrible, absolutely terrible. They've had this really high crime rate there. And because where it's located, you would think it's situated well to be away from that stuff. But if you look at it closely, you can see why they're impacted the way they are. You know what I mean? So sometimes it takes a minute to kind of get a better idea of how Vegas is impacted. So, but anyways, all right, good. All right, so I want to move to some of the conversations. So this is the part of where how much time are we in? Oh my God, I've been going for a whole hour?
An hour and 10 minutes, yeah.
Yikes. All right, well, anyways, I got to finish. Are you ready? So I have this very interesting, I had two conversations this week. One of them was with, and I know this is, there's someone out there who may be impacted, but so I'm on the phone with this guy, and he is he is involved with cruise ships, okay? And we call him up, and he is, and this is no takeaway from the other person, okay? I won't say, but so he's asking me, he's on the phone, and he's saying to me, he's like, well, why do we want to work with you? Because me and Alex want to go on I would love to go on a cruise, right? And we would love to host some people because that's a thing. People are cruising, people are going on cruises, they're gambling. We have a gambling community. And people don't know us. People don't know, of course. Not everybody knows us. I mean, we have a small community with kind of a niche, you know what I mean? A niche and a niche sometimes. So we get on this phone, I have this conversation, and the guy right away is like, who are you? Why are you? And I'm going over it. I'm like, hey, we have this channel, and we get views on our roulette, and you know what I mean? Like, we have this different thing. We have this community. And he's like, well, have you ever done a cruise? And we're like, no, we have never done a cruise. It's something we're looking at doing. And the whole time he's just very skeptical. He's like, well, but why do people would want to go to a cruise? Why am I talking to you? Why are we having this conversation? Who are you? Well, it's like, well, we have a bunch of players, and we have events. We have up to maybe 100, 150 people come to our events. And I think a cruise is a gimme. I think enough people, even if it's 10 cabins or 20 cabins, enough people come on the cruise. And we want to incentivize the experience and have a great experience. He's like, yeah, but have you monetized this before? Have you monetized how have you had this community for all these years and you haven't, don't you monetize it? Do you know what your community spends? No, we haven't. We really haven't. We haven't. We get this question a lot, by the way. So casinos too. When we try to do events, we are always asked, okay, what kind of players are you bringing? What are they playing? And it's understandable. You're a casino. You're in it to make money. You want to, and then the next question is, well, look, how do we monetize this experience? Well, we haven't wanted to monetize the experience. Like, we wanted people to go wherever the hell they want to go. And if they want to meet up with us, that's great. Like, our thing is a little different. That's our dynamic is I never thought I'd be sitting here having this conversation with you, right? We never had any idea that this thing would be a thing. 6 years ago or 7 years ago, when we started, we just made a YouTube video, and it changed our lives. We had a school that was reasonably successful. It's now taken off. We had this idea for Casino Quest. It's taken off. But we've done it in a way that's we haven't spent $1 on marketing, although that's going to change. So we haven't spent even $1, not $1 on direct any kind of marketing. We haven't sent out any mailers. We have sent out a few emails, but we haven't done any mailers. We don't put up billboards. We have no commercials. We have nothing. We have nothing. Our business is built on word of mouth. All of it's word of mouth and reviews. And the rest of it's like, everybody's like, well, you got to spend money on marketing, which we may because there's other people involved and that's a thing. But up until now, we've always just sort of grown organically. We've all been part of the community. We've listened, we've learned, we made a lot of mistakes and we keep moving forward. That's all we got. And so anyway, so this guy's asking me, he's telling me, he's like, well, why, I don't understand. Why do people, I'm like, well, I teach people how to play, but why do people want to learn from you? He's telling me. And I'm like, I mean, what am I supposed to say? I said, well, I've been a dealer for many years. And he's like, well, I've been a dealer for many years. Nobody wants to learn how to play from me. And I'm like, well, how boring for you, dude? You know what I mean? What do you want from me? Not every dealer on the Las Vegas Strip is being paid to teach people how for different reasons, right? I mean, different people interact with people. I mean, what do you want from me? So the guy is like literally just drilling me. He's like, I've been a dealer. Nobody wants to learn from me. He's like, and then I was like, well, I've been a crap dealer. I wanted to qualify because craps is a tough game. So I thought, well, maybe if he knew I was a craps dealer, you know what I mean? Which is not always the easiest game. Maybe he'll have, oh no, I'm a crap dealer too. Nobody wants to learn from craps from me. And the whole time I'm like, how do I get off this phone call? Like this is not someone that I want to talk to. This is someone who literally has no vision, no idea. This is someone who has literally built himself box after box after box after box. And I'm sure there's lots of companies and there's lots of trajectories where you can move from one box to the next box, the next box, and you do your job and you bean count it and you come up with a number and you meet the number and you move on, new number, and you slowly move into, and I have a feeling that's true for lots of people. That's not our box. We got no box, dude. Our box is quite literally, we come up with an idea and we roll with it, and sometimes it literally just splats all over the place, and other times it works out great, you know what I mean? And so we'll come up with 10 things and one thing takes off and boom. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just how it is. We don't sit there and say, yes, we quantify things. We look at the execution. We have to obviously afford to do. By the way, sometimes we don't even we don't drill down on the budget stuff. We kind of look at it in a nebulous way, and we're like, all right, well, it looks like we can afford it, and then we jump in because we got no other place to jump. That's the greatest thing about being where we're at, even now. There's no back. There's nothing there. There's only forward. And so we jump forward, right? So anyways, like this guy is like, dude, you don't get it. You don't understand. And you're stuck in your own box. And I can't rebuild the box. I'm not about to convince you of the box. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to come up with our own box and we'll go from there. The first cruise company that works it out with us will benefit, hopefully. And if they don't benefit, they don't benefit. But ultimately, I think it's a win. I know that Color Up has done a cruise, and he has, that I'm sure is a win. We'll do a cruise. This is just players, people wanting to go on a cruise and gamble, dude. Give me a flippin' break. But anyways, fast forward again to us. So here's the thing. And this is where me and Dennis had this very interesting conversation. Who was it that we were talking about who was talking to us? And we felt like, don't say their name or anything, but that we felt like they were being disingenuous, like they were just there to be overtly positive. And we're like, this is not how the world works.
Oh, I don't remember their name, but I remember.
But anyway, so we had this interesting encounter, and it was somebody who just, everything was great. Everything's not great, dude. That's not how the world works, right? We're always dealing with conflict, and we're dealing with mistakes, and we're dealing with things are not always great, and they're not always well managed. As much as we like to appear, oh, I know, dude. I skipped over the Fontainebleau. We're gonna run out of time. I don't want to go back to the Fontainebleau thing, but Fontainebleau and the Wynn are kind of at the war. You know what I mean? Because Fontainebleau is a disaster, bro. It really is. The dealers that have worked there. I had a dealer come in the other day. They're not making a whole bunch of money. They're very upset about it. Some of them are needing second job. Like they came to me wanting a second job. Can you imagine what was supposed to be the #1 casino? And they screwed that up. And everyone associated with that property who opened that property, you screwed it up. You screwed it up. You know what I mean? You had an opportunity to build something really, 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 really special. And you know what? You didn't. And because you didn't, you screwed it up. And you know why you didn't? Because you had your box. And you didn't think about what you were trying to do, you know? And even if you tell me that you were listening to one guy, well, then you should have just quit. You should have jumped ship, and you should have made that the thing. Because that one guy doesn't know. That one guy didn't know. That one guy didn't know. And now he's going to have to suck it because that's not going well. They could spin it whatever, you know, David, listen. Let's just say, I will say that the dealers that I have heard from say it's not going well. Maybe it's going great over there. Maybe on a Wednesday and you guys are empty and your tables are dead. Maybe that's the best thing that's happening. Maybe you planned it that way. The fact that you only have 4 or 5 stores out of like literally place looks dead. Maybe that's exactly what you wanted. But it doesn't, from my perspective, it doesn't look like it's going good. Don't sue me, okay? But, again, more people in a box, dude. And then I keep hearing from these people, well, we had to follow orders and we weren't allowed to kind of do our own thing. Well, then you're not doing your job. You're a high-functioning, high-level executive. You're there to push back and say no because you're supposed to know how this works. But anyways, there's no excuses for it. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. And now the win is kind of saying that they pinched their employees, which I think they pinched some of their employees. I mean, who knows? I know of some employees that were offered jobs, that either went, didn't go, whatever the case is. But I could see, I would bet that some of those employees are a little bit irritated that they made the move. I know a lot of dealers wish they hadn't made the move. So we'll see where that works out. But anyways, all right. So we're going to get back to our training center. I want to, we're finalizing the website. We're finalizing that. And let me just say, it is the next big jumping off for us. And we're hoping this specifically is not the place where we squat, because we're putting a lot of eggs in the basket. And the basket really is our training, our players, and this idea of immersion, right? So we are entering into an agreement to occupy a space that's 9,500 square feet, which for us is big. It's literally across the street or close to Palace Station. So this is the upgrade from, I didn't reveal it, but we should be signing the lease here today or tomorrow. We're waiting for one little caveat to be changed and the build out to be done. It is separated into 3 distinct pieces. Now I'm going to send out a new newsletter only for people that have signed up and subscribed to our training center supporter thing. Okay, I'm not selling. There is going to be an offer, just so you know. Okay, because we're looking for people who want to be involved in the training center. And we are setting up tiers or making available discounts, early access discounts as you were, to be involved and be part of this training center. But essentially, it parlays everything we're doing on the player and dealer side. And it parlays all of our engagement with the casino partners that work with us, the players who work with us, and this is literally everywhere, okay? So it's kind of the end game. But anyway, so it's 9,500 square feet. It's catty corner to the Palace Station, which is one of our biggest, most supportive entities. And we expect it to be, 3 parts. One part is going to be the primary school, which is CEG Dealer School, where we're going to continue to train dealers, and we're doing, the school is doing fantastic. We've been, because of YouTube and we've really evolved the school, and the training now has literally gone to the next level. We've been working with one of our partners, a friend of mine who's quite literally an executive and a genius, and who has had his own school, has been very helpful in us evolving our space, and it's just been a really fantastic experience. So we've become a better school. We weren't a perfect school, but we're becoming as perfect a school as you can ever imagine, and we will have online training, the whole gamut of courses available to everyone. If you want to be a dealer, if you want to be a player, if you're just a curious person and you just want information, there's that. But we have the CEG space, which will double in size at this new location. We'll have up to 40 working games, and we already have casinos that have been contributing furniture and new tables, and it's going to be a fantastic space. It's going to be a Class A space. It's not going to be, if you go to our school now, it looks a little bit like a trade school, as you would expect, but this space will be upgraded. We're also going to be an elite. There's going to be what we call an express class or elite class area, where we're going to focus on elite classes, single, zero, dice master, this kind of thing. We're also going to have player immersion. We call it player immersion, but what it'll be is these express courses. So you'll be able to come out to Vegas for 2 days and have very small classes, a dedicated instructor teach you how to become a dealer. So for those of you who are interested, but not really on the fence, so maybe it's a bucket list to be a Las Vegas dealer, or maybe you're just curious, you don't really know if you want to take the plunge, you'll be able to come out here on a Wednesday, Thursday, or a Saturday, Sunday, sign up for one of our courses, and these courses are going to be taught by people like me. It's people with significant time in this industry, people that can make the time count. If they're going to be 10 hours, 5 hours on day 1, 5 hours on day 2, and it's going to be very intensive. The classes will be restricted to no more than 5 people, and you will have your own instructor throughout that whole process. And you will go through our school, and then we will put you onto a public-facing front. Because we are uniquely positioned that way. With Casino Quest, right, we can get you in front of players, and that's the big thing. Instead of you dealing to just other dealers or other people in the school, having the exposure to players like we are with March Madness is a huge upgrade to the experience, and no one else can do that. Like literally, the idea that we as a school, like we currently have almost 400 years of some absurd amount of time. Most of the people involved with our school have 20, 25, 30 plus years experience. So you are going to be trained by us. I teach the dice class. So if you come out, and will I continue? Yes, because I love teaching dice. Not every day, because I'm here doing YouTube too, but it's the thing I love the most, the absolute thing I love the most. So when you come to the school, you're going to learn, is this camera still on? Because it flashed, no? You didn't see that? Was it like a poltergeist? Anyways.
It looks fine on my end.
It looks fine? All right. So you're going to come and you're going to learn from Alex. You're going to learn from me. You're going to learn from Becky and Lauren, and you're going to learn from all these people who you've become familiar with on our YouTube channel, because these are the people that are literally at our school. So the express classes are going to be available, and the elite classes are going to, so if you're from any other place, you'll be able to plug in and take these elite classes. If you're a dice dealer somewhere and you learn from some casino locally, well, there's a lot to dice, dude. You can come learn from me. You can come learn from me, because I've been teaching it, and I've been dealing dice for many, many years. I feel like there's a lot of, by the way, a lot of dice dealers out there will be like, I'm the best dealer ever, and you know what? Great. That's excellent. I love the fact that there's a lot of us in this space, and hopefully I can earn your business. How about that? Let's just put it that way. But you'll be able to come out to us, and then we're going to have another area that's going to be focused on production and media, where we're going to really explore opportunities to teach players, teach dealers. And by the way, so we had someone who came to our Casino Quest on Google, left a review, which is nonsense, by the way. So if you interact with our space, and I feel like should be always the case. We want you to be honest. If there is any part of your experience that you feel is just not positive or is taking away, dude, just do that. You know what I mean? Because I don't like to, as a business owner, I don't like to give negative reviews, but I do sometimes that are constructive. You know what I mean? I don't take away all the stars. I don't write something to be petty or bitter. I write something with feedback I think is important, that is a learning thing. And if I feel like a business, and I give businesses second chances, and I go back and I update it, I don't just leave it and forget about it. But we had a guy recently who talked about how, we're selling strategy. First of all, we're not selling strategies, okay? That's not the experience we have. So this person probably never, ever came into our space. If you come to Casino Quest, our entire business is focused on creating opportunity. Whether you're a dealer or you're a player, and we teach you etiquette. We show you how the game works and gameplay, and we teach you strategies for entertainment purposes. There's lots of other channels out there that'll teach you other types of things with other types of outcomes that we are just not germane to our process. Do we make some YouTube videos that have different? Of course, it's for YouTube. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to take that with a grain of salt. But our experience at Casino Quest in the school is all about creating opportunity and nothing else. It's about being immersive. It's about having this feel of the game, and not losing your money. And so if, I beseech you to at least just be honest and have feedback that is constructive. And we welcome all feedback. I promise you that. Like I actually get, me and Alex filter and go through all the info emails or all of the, what is it, admin at what is info at My Casino Quest? What's the email for My Casino Quest?
Info and admin, both of them. We get emails from
Okay,
both
so
of them,
info at mycasinoquest.com?
Yeah.
All right, info or admin at mycasinoquest.com. And the other one is info at CEG Dealer School. We read them, dude. I read them all. I can't get back to every one of them. I'm sorry, sometimes the week gets ahead of me, but we read them personally, all of them, every single one. And we take it very seriously. So there's that. By the way, if you have had a good time, maybe leave a review. That'd be really helpful. And if you haven't had a good time, just shut the hell up already. All right.
Someone asked, can I go to the school just to learn payouts?
Just to learn which one?
Payouts?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So guess what? We not only will this space, so this space is going to have the training, but you'll be able to come as a player or you'll be able to actually spend time at the school at a discounted rate as a player. So that would be something you might want to learn as a player. But I mean, you can sort of. I mean, there's a lot of places. Like I would say for that, just you go to YouTube. There's a lot of pay. Like if you're looking for craps payouts, we've done that in spades. In fact, we have our LMS, our learning management system, that we're adding craps right now. We're working on the craps, and for a reasonable amount of money, you'll be able to learn that. The payouts will be there, all that stuff. Good. All right. I think we're at the end of the road. I really appreciate everybody. This has been we're going to give away some stuff, by the way, some of our mats. Here, can you grab a mat? Where is it?
I think we're running out of mats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And prop mats? So we have tons of them. No?
Let me check.
All right, we're going to see. We might be running out of mats, but we're going to give something away. It's been a hectic week, and we're getting this lease together and this build out done. The school's got to move in the next 2 months. We have a lot of things that we're up against it. We had to roll out March Madness, of course. We have a few corporate events coming up. And the school is literally just, it's doing fantastic. But sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. Let me just say, I missed a meeting this morning with someone who is a great fan, and I feel really bad about that. But David can only handle so much stuff can get in my brain. All right, what are we going to give away? Do we have the mats? How about a money mat?
Sure.
How about a money mat? We'll get a money mat. We have tons of money mats, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right, hey, there's one literally, I think right on my desk in my room on the right, money mat. All right, so hang tight, everybody. We're going to get a money mat. We're going to give it away. Am I able to read any of the comments? Can I say hello to anybody? Maybe?
Maybe.
Is that, I got to get to it quickly. All right, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get to our channel. This is on CQ, right? Yeah. There it is. Look at that. Is Vegas getting worse? Absolutely not. Okay, I got an ad. I have to get to the ad. Where to play Crapless Craps?
Nowhere.
Where do you think is a great place to play Crapless Craps in Vegas? Like, where would you go? Where would be the best place? Yeah. Venetian and Bellagio, they have all of them. Money Matt. Hey, Vegas Matt is hosting a casino cruise with Virgin as we speak. Yeah, I bet. That guy, by the way, is loaded, dude. I don't know how he can play at that level. We cannot afford to play at that level, dude. That guy is absolutely loaded. I would love to run into him one day. He seems like a lot of fun.
Show the mat.
All right, here we go. We got the money mats. We got money mats. There's 2 versions of these, I believe. So if you don't win,
the small one is only.
this is the small one. So this is our money mat. So if you're motivated by $100 bills, this is the money mat. And they're at shopcasinoquest.com, and you can buy your own. How much are they? $15?
I believe so.
So they're washable, they're foldable, they're you know what I mean? This is a high quality mat, and we're gonna give it away. We'll give away, how many of these we have? Tons, right?
Tons, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give away 2 of them right now. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get away 2. Yeah, we're gonna give away 2. What do you think? No? There's too many. Dennis is not as generous as David, though. Dennis is half as generous. He only wants to give away 1. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Money mat. Yeah, put money mat in there. Go. They already started. Money mat. When Bob Stupak was alive, everybody hated Crapless Craps. Like, all the casinos were like, we're never gonna put Crapless Craps into our casino. And now, guess what? The man dies, and now everybody wants a Crapless Craps game. You know what I mean? It's outrageous. Are they typing money mat? Type money mat. Baked potato mat? No. A mouse pad? Oh, they're not. Okay. Oh, here it is. All right, here it is. Jaffo's going to end up the winner, dude. He's the only one typing it in. Is that all we have left? All right.
Just give him a second. Remember, we're on a delay. Just because you keep saying it doesn't mean that.
Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Yeah, I forgot we're on a delay.
There's like, if I say it more, it will happen quicker.
Here it is. All right, ready? All right, let's just let us say, hi, David. Bringing my sister to Fan Freely. Oh, how do I register? If you're a patron, we know you're a patron. You'll just come by and you'll be a patron.
On the first day, we'll give you something.
On the first day, you'll know.
On the first day, we'll give you something so you can.
All right, ready? Stop.
Well, I wasn't really scrolling. So
were you scrolling? Okay, all right, ready? Tell me when you're scrolling. Okay, ready? All right, stop.
1 through 10.
5.
Ooh. Whoa.
Wow, what happened to your mouse?
It's scrolling still, despite me not.
Really? Is there a way to?
Okay, let's try that again.
Really? Okay, ready?
Okay, one more time. Okay, 1 through 10.
5.
Charlie Perkins.
Charlie Perkins?
You're the one.
I think we know Charlie.
Do we?
I think we met Charlie. No, the name sounds familiar, but maybe not. Dice Daddy, love it. Snapper's firing away, dude. Look at that. He must have a bot working. Okay.
I think he knows how copy and paste works.
He knows copy and paste. Yeah, but some of these guys, fantastic. Charlie Perkins, okay. All right, Toothpick is in there. Toothpick, you can pick up your own mat, dude. You know what I mean? All right, ready? All right, one more. We're going to give away 2, because how about this? If we get 13 likes in 2 minutes, so we'll get to 100 likes, and then we'll give away the second one. How about that? We'll just hang out. All right, ready? For a second, ask me anything, and I'd be happy to answer. Yes, it's big. It's big. That's the first answer.
His forehead, yeah.
It's big. It's absolutely stunning.
Biggest forehead.
Biggest forehead. Dennis is like, yeah, he's always on about my forehead. I always figured that would be the first question, but go ahead. Go ahead and ask me anything. You got how many minutes? 5 minutes to go. I'll answer it, or I'll be like, no. Wow, people are still going. Yeah, it takes a minute, huh?
I think it's about like 10 seconds.
Really? 10 seconds? They're still going on, dude. I don't even think they know who won yet. Is it wide? Well, depends. My forehead, yes. Yes, it is.
Billboard ad space.
The answer, yeah. Apparently, I could sell ad space. Oh, yeah, they can hear you. You're on the mic. I'm having to repeat for you. I'm thinking that they can't hear you. Can they hear you?
Yeah, they can hear me.
All right. Well, anyways, what's the best way to quickly determine the odds payout for a DC 6 or 8? If it's, is this someone that's been in my class? Are they? If it's under the cap, whatever's under the cap, that's what it pays. If it's a lay on the 6 and 8, whatever's under the cap, or the same bet on the 5 or 9. So here's, you ready? I'm just gonna stun you right now because I got the answer to this. So if it's a $60 6, right? If someone gives you, first of all, if it's a good DC bet, a good lay bet, a direct lay or a lay on a DC bet, right? If it's a good place bet, it's a good DC or lay. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, if you know what that same bet pays, what that same bet is on the 5. So for example, a $60 6 is also the same as a $50 5, right? So a $60 no 6 pays $50. Or what's under the cap, a $60 6 is a cap of 10. You lift up that cap and boom, pays $50. If you have a $72 no 6, guess what the cap is? It's 12 because it's a 60 and a 12, $72. So guess what is under the cap? If it's a no 6, it's $60. You see how easy this game? This is the easiest game that I keep telling everybody.
And if you don't know what the cap is, then
and if you don't know what the cap, you got to know 6 to 60. You got to know 6 to 65 to 50, and you need to know the relationship between the 5 and the 6, or the, you know what I mean, the 5 and 9 and the 6 and 8. If you know that, you know so much of this game. It's crazy. But Darcy, I think this is someone that's been to my cap. I think that they're capping me. I think is that what they call it?
They said they haven't been to school.
They haven't been to the school. Oh, there you go. That's free. Yeah. All right. Ready? All right. So come by the school. Okay. So money mat. 80 people haven't hit. No. Does it react? Because it still shows 87. Is it at 100 yet?
No, it's at 107.
It's at 107. Oh crap! Here, they're already on money mat. They're already doing. Should we just keep it at money mat? That way, Snapper doesn't have to retype everything.
How about Matt Money?
Okay, Matt Money. That's what we're gonna do. Matt Money. All right. I mean, Darcy, it's a great class. I would love to. We have a lot of pictures. If you reach out to some of our students, It really is a great class. I've been working on this, developing this class for a very long time. And I started with lots of no's. And when I say no's, lots of lessons about, teaching dice. And the benefit I've had is I've seen a lot of break-ins, and I know how people first start interacting with checks and dice and order of operations and all these things. And so we've created, I think, I've also paired up with someone recently who has been very instrumental in helping me evolve the course, and it's really it's really gone to a special place, I feel. So it's a really great class. But anyways, all right, Matt Money. Oh, look at that. Or Mad Money, same difference. All right, ready? Tell me when, buddy.
I think that's just a typo.
Well, either way.
Tell me when to stop.
See, stop.
1 through 10.
9.
Let's see, because this person 9 technically didn't say the actual word.
Really?
So Chris, I'm not gonna even say your last name. Just look at the chat.
All right. Can I give out? Am I allowed to just give out a mat to anyone, or is that cheating?
Yeah, that's kind of cheating.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is everyone gonna hate me if I just say, listen, this person should get a mat? It's not even someone I know, because I just know that they've been working really hard smashing the buttons, and I feel bad they didn't win a mat.
It's
Can
okay.
I just give him
Nope.
a mat?
Nope.
You can't do it?
Nope.
Damn it. Sorry, Jaffo.
He's won something before, by the way.
Oh, you have? Oh, you have? Oh, I didn't know you won some. Man, you were just firing away, dude. Like, he's put in more mats than just yikes. I was going to be like, dude, you got to have a mat. Apparently, I'm not even subscribed. Not subscribed to the damn channel, dude. What's the matter with me? All right.
Okay, end the video.
All right, guys. We are off to Keynote to unwind. Thank you so much.
And the truth is,
Bye.